Uh, I am here for you as a Python trainer. Not by learning this course, you will going for the Python developer as well as in the other fields also. If you want to learn the data science also, this course will be sufficient if you learn this Python very perfectly. More than enough what we are going to cover this course in this content. The content what we have developed for the Python not only restricted to Python developer, even if you go for the data science also, it is more useful. So, and myself, I'm Raviteja. So I have experience 4 years of the teaching experience in engineering college and in the another software industry. So 4+ years in and teaching, which I have taught the students for undergraduate students like the LabVIEW, VHDL, Verilog, System C, assembly programming language, MATLAB, and other programming languages, Python, C++, and the data science, all these courses which I taught, and for the development of the bio design also, which I taught in the like the biosensor development and design, and I have worked in Indian Space Research Organization for Chandrayaan-2 project. Later, later I have moved into I have started my own startup in artificial intelligence, so which I received a patent from the Indian government. Later, I am also planning for the other countries also, which I have applied for the other countries like USA and Australia, and I am waiting for those patents yet to receive. Later, I have started my career in the data scientist, which I am working as a data scientist in one of the MNC. This is my profile. So which I am here for you as a trainer for the Python. Not only the Python developer who take this course, you not only can become a Python developer, even if you want to learn for the data science also, this Python is the more essential part. So if you learn this Python, you can go for the Python developer as well as for the data science also. If you want to go for data science, it is not only get stop into the Python only, you have to learn some other topics like statistics and machine learning. If you learn these two modules, you can go for the machine learning engineer or data scientist. So next topic, which I am going to share the screen. So we have the so many languages like the C, C++, Java, and so many languages we used to see. So 10 to 15 years back, everyone used to use the Java.NET. So that is more popular. But nowadays Python, which is the most familiar language, and everyone used to learn this Python. Why we are using only Python? Why not any other language? Here we have to learn first this. Later we have to go for the content what we required in the Python. So what the content which I am going to tell in the Python, that I will say later. First, before going to see that all the contents, why this Python language you have to learn, why this Python is most popular. After learning all these things, then only if you see the content, it will be more easier. That what I have planned here. So which is a Python is a scripting based language, and which is a high level programming interpretable language. So this Python is a scripting language, and as well as it is a high level programmable, high level interpretable programming language. So coming to this, what is the scripting language? What is high level interpretable programming language? We have to see. So high level interpretive programming language, there are two level kinds of languages. Suppose if you want to communicate with each other, we need some kind of English vocabulary. Based on the English vocabulary, based on that, we used to communicate with each other. In the similar way, if you want to talk with the system, there should be required some kind of language. So to for the system has to understand, there should be need some kind of language. For that only we need this programming language. If you want to communicate with the system, you should require some programming language. For that programming language, we are used to learn here is Python. How we used to communicate with each other in the English. In the similar way, if you want to communicate with the system, there should be some need of some kind of language. That language only we are learning here is Python. Suppose if you want to if you want to build some application like Ola or Uber application, if you are planning some kind of so there is some kind of application. If you are building some kind of application in your mobile application, so you have to predict the fare X and predict the fare Y. Suppose the Ola prices will get changed based on some parameters. Even the Uber prices also, the fare also will get changed based on the some parameters. So you want to predict some what is the price at this particular time. What is the price at this particular time? If you want to predict some kind of values, what is the price for Ola, what is the price for Uber at 12:30 p.m. Suppose for if you want to buy, if you want to book the cab, and if you want to predict some kind of price prediction, so then some kind of application if you are going to build, there must be need of some language should be required in order to build that application. So there that also you will be using this Python. So why if you want to build the same application, if you are going to take in the Java, so for each and it will become into the 1,000 to 2,000 lines of code. The same application if you are going to build. But if you are considering the same thing in the Python, it will take just only the 10 lines of code or 15 lines of code. So which will be very simpler compared to the other complex languages. So that's why we'll be preferring the Python. So high level programming, interpretable language is nothing but, so there is a two kinds of languages. So in order to communicate with the system, one is called the low level language, another one is called the high level language. The low level language where we can call it is kind of some kind of assembly language. So where we used to write the languages in kind of some kind of microprocessor and microcontrollers like 8086, 8051. So this all story is different. We are not going to learn here. Just we are mainly concentrating on the high level language. The high level language where the humans are able to can understand that kind of language which you will be calling it as a high level language. Simply like how the English language will be there, in the similar way, whatever the language you are going to write in this, that if you are humans can understand that kind of language, that comes under the high level language. So that is the Python. So high level languages, whatever we have, like C, C++, Java, all this comes under into the high level languages. So, and this is not only high level language, this is also a interpretable language. Interpretable language is nothing but if you have the 1,000 lines of code, so each and every lines of the code you try to execute it and you can debug it and you can see the result. Whatever the line, so if you can able to see the for each and every line of the code, you directly you can compile and run it. So you will get an result. So if it is getting an error or if you are debugging, so whatever the error you are getting, so bugs are getting, you are debugging that and you are trying to solve and rectify this particular line of code and again you will run it. So that is kind of facility which is there in the Python. So which is kind of the scripting language. Each and every line you can able to run and compile. Whatever the result if you are getting, if it is true, then it's fine. If it is not true, you are debugging it and you are trying to solve this particular line of the code and you execute it and you will run it and you can see the result. So whatever the suppose whatever in the class, if you are going to take in the class, so this is a class. So here so many students are there. So I am trying to explain some concept here. So I am trying to explain some concept here. Whatever I am explaining some concept, some persons will ask some doubts. So any person will ask some doubts here. So whatever he is able to access, whatever I am telling in this class, all recordings will be available in your dashboard. You will be seeing those recordings and you will be clarifying whatever you are having that after seeing the recording. If you are having some sort of doubts, you will be asking me. So whatever by seeing those recordings and you are asking, you are communicating with me in some language. So that language may be either in English or Telugu or some whatever language it may be. So what all the recordings we are telling here, whatever I am going to start here, you just follow those recordings. If you have doubts, definitely you are going to ask me. So for asking me, you are communicating with some language. That language here we are calling it as any other language so that which I can understand what you are asking. In the similar way, whatever the language, if you want to communicate with the system, some kind of language which we required, that is called as here is Python. So Python is only the language, and in nowadays the data science, which is the most popular course, in that most popular course, everyone used to prefer using either Python or R language. In that Python or R also, they are preferring morely to use the Python only. So we are trying to use the Python in artificial intelligence kind of system. So that is artificial intelligence applications in the similar way, like the Ola cabs, that is 5 price predictions, and the Uber cabs, the price prediction. Whatever if you are going to see Google Assistant, that is you are talking directly with the phone, and the Apple iPhone Siri, all these applications which are the artificial intelligence based applications only, like self-driving cars, like Swiggy, Zomato, so YouTube, and in the Gmail, whatever the mail you are getting from someone else, automatically when you open the mail, it is generating the automatically the responses. How that is happening? Because of artificial intelligence, NLP. So all these applications now we have discussed, everything which have worked based on Python only. So the language, whatever you are seeing, daily applications in your mobile application or in the Google Assistant or Apple Siri 4 or automated responses in the WhatsApp, the YouTube recommendations. If you open the Amazon, in the Amazon also, if you try to buy some product, automatically there is some recommendations. Suppose if you are going to buy some mobile in the Amazon, so automatically, suppose we take some kind of site here. So this is a Amazon. This is where the Amazon site will be there. So here some tabs will be there. So in this tab, you will be buy some products. in these products you are trying to prefer to buy the mobile. So there are so many mobiles like the Samsung, LG, sorry, some Oppo, so that is Apple iPhone, so Redmi, like this, some mobile brand applications are there. You try to purchase some of the mobile. Whenever you purchase the mobile in the Amazon, automatically at the bottom you can see that recommendation recommender. If you are purchasing this kind of product, automatically you may purchase some products along with the mobile. So automatically it will be showing at the bottom of the page like some earphones, some headsets, all you will be able to see. Some mobile port bank. So all this you will be able to see whenever you try to purchase some of the mobile, automatically the website automatically it will be show some recommender systems. If you are trying to purchase this one, try to try to, if you want, you can try to purchase this also. So that is your wish. Whether you want to purchase or not, these recommendation systems, that is your wish. But the Amazon site will be showing those kind of products, similar products also. So how this is happening? All this because whatever the application you are building here, mostly it is in the Python only. So this kind of applications uh, will be used. So, so not only whatever the applications which I have seen here, Python is not only the language where you can build only the this kind of applications, other language also you can use like C++, C, Java, JavaScript, Go, Go Pro, so Go programming and the Scala, all these kind of programming languages, whatever it is there, you can use and build these kind of applications. Each of these language is having the artificial intelligence kind of libraries. If you have the proficiency in any one of the language, automatically you can adopt the other languages so easy. So that is not that much difficult. If you know the one language, then why you have the every language you have the libraries, then why we are only using for Python? Suppose if you take the C, C++ and the Java, this kind of programming languages, so there is a complexity in terms of the syntax. So there is a complexity in terms of syntax and views and commands, whatever it may be taking. So all these programming languages, there will be a complexity will be there. So instead of getting the hundreds and 200 lines of the code, if you are getting simply in the 10 lines of the code, that is more simpler. Everyone used to learn that language only. Here also, there is, if you take in terms of syntax, the C and C++, which is with more complexity. So, but as a practitioner, as a data scientist or developer, or whatever it may be, Python is one of the language in easiest to develop, whether it is system programming or graphical user interface or managing databases or data mining. All these things can be done by simply by using the Python. So one are the different kinds of applications. The Python is a system programming, and it is a GUI desktop application where you used to develop the application of the desktop, that is, and the web scraping. Web scraping means wherever you want to capture some of the information through HTML page. So that is through, can be possible through the web scraping by using the Python, and the managing databases. And next one is fast prototyping. Next one is numeric or scientific programming. So whatever the things you can be developed here, numeric or scientific programming. Next one is game development. Next one is image processing. Next one is robotics. Next one is automation. Next one is data science. So all these kind of applications we are for the Python only. So on the data mining. So wherever this kind of applications we are preferring, most of the use cases, everyone used to build this kind of applications by using Python only. So if you are going for the other languages, it will be more complicated, and the syntax also will be complexity, and also the getting the lines of code is also very high in the other languages. So Python supports the very all that kinds of libraries. So learning Python, which is not at all big deal, even from the non-coding background, also those people also can learn the Python. So don't think that as a Python only meant for the who have the basic knowledge of other programming languages. If you don't know the other programming languages, Python learning of the Python is very difficult. Don't trust all those kind of words. So whoever coming from the other background, non-coding background also, those people also can learn the Python very easily. So which is very easily how we will be talking example with the humans. In the similar way, you also used to talk with the mission. In the similar way, the same similar way. The English, the pronunciation, the vocabulary, how you are using with the people, the similar syntax only you are able to see in the Python also. You won't find that much difficult if you know the English language, how to communicate with the other people. So that kind of simplicity language the Python is. Not only for the coding background people, even anyone can learn. Even the fifth class guy also can learn this Python programming. That much simple it is. So you don't think that it is a complex language. So because of why I am telling this much simple means, because of it is very easy how we used to talk within the language, the native language feeling you will be getting by learning Python here. So and even not only that reason, the Python which supports the kind of libraries. There are so many libraries. Whenever you need that library, just bring that and use it. Suppose if you don't have that library, you have to write multiple lines of code. That is in other languages. But Python, it makes your life very easier by using the Python. If you take other languages, there is no library support. Automatically, you have to write 100 lines of code. Because of Python, which supports the libraries, so many libraries, you have the more fetching advantage here. Learning Python, which is not at all a big deal. That first you have to fix in your mind. Don't think that it is a programming. I cannot learn. Everyone used to learn like that. You don't think in that way. So everyone can learn very easily. Suppose summation operation. If you take that, that is A plus B. The A plus B simply, which is a high interpretable programming language I told. So simply if you want to add the two numbers in the Python, simply just to write A plus B and assign the some number. So this A and B are the two numbers. you assign the number to each and every variable. A plus b equal to 10, b equal to 20, a plus b 10 plus 20 equal to 30. In the simply one line of the code, you can write in one line. But the same way, if you are going for the other programming languages, it takes more difficulty and you have to build the at least 10 lines of the code. But even the simplicity of this line of code also. A plus b, see how you will do in the uh, normal process a plus b. But here you see, if you are taking this in other programming languages, you have to write lines of the code. Here, no need of lines of the code. Simply give a plus b and run it. You will get answer. So Python is having the huge popularity. There are so many libraries like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch, NumPy, Pandas, Tinkercad, these all sklearn, all these libraries which are there for you to make your life very easier. Because of these libraries only, your life is easier and you can use anywhere, wherever it is used. But if you take the other programming languages, this kind of libraries which not there, you have to write lines of the code. So if you want to, so I'm mixing both of Python and the data science in this. If you want to build some applications in the data science also, so you have to learn the mathematics part, you have to focus on mathematics part, you have to focus on the architecture part, you have to focus on the algorithm part, you have to focus on the business part, you have to focus on the data understanding part and data interpretation part, data analysis part, and all these kind of things you have to focus, not only on the programming. If you want to go for the data science, you have to concentrate in all these aspects. Suppose if you take in the linked list, the same linked list, if you are going to take in the Java, it will take the 100 lines of the code or 1000 lines of the code for the particular task. Same thing if you are going for the Python. Same thing if you are going for the Python, it won't take that many lines of the code to execute the same linked list. So you will be having directly libraries, you can use it. So Python, which is having the library supports are there and which is having the variety of implementation which can be done here. So first advantage mainly can be used for the TSA based on quality of software. Quality of the software is nothing but whatever the Python, Python is meant for the readability, and it is usable and maintainable compared to the other languages, and it is easy to build the front-end application, back-end application, and processing of the data. Whenever we build the something, support all the model features like the hooks and the functional programming. So whatever the application which you are going to build here, so it won't take the much more complexity also. You can build the any kind of application in very simple way by using this Python. Second one is productivity of developers. If you are using the C, C++, Java, to achieve one task, we use the linked list. That is complex structures. All functions and methods. So if you have developed that kind of thing, you have tried 100 lines of the code. These functions, methods, and data structures which are already available in the Python. Whenever you want to, you will bring that and simply use it. That's all. No need of writing 100 lines of code. Already there is inbuilt functions are there in the Python. So this is a Python code. So you want to build some application. There are some libraries. In these libraries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, some libraries are there. So whenever you write the lines of the code, you want to build some application. So there already inbuilt application will be there. So whenever you need that one, bring this simply that library here and use it and run it simply. No need of code. Already which are the inbuilt libraries are there. So that's why it makes you simpler also to learn this language also. Next one is platform independent. Platform independent is Python can run in any kind of device. In the OS, it can run in any kind of device and OS also. Python supporting the libraries. Python supporting libraries like file reading. For file reading, if you want to do the file reading in the Java, it will take 100 lines of code or 50 lines of code or 60 lines of code. So that means you have to parse that file and you have to read it and you have to use that some functions and it will get the 100 lines of the code. But in supporting libraries which are there in the Python, there if you want to read some files, you can use the pandas. Suppose if you want to read the some CSV file in the Java, you have to read you will be getting some program in 100 to 70 to 100 lines of the code, the same file reading. But if you are taking in the Python, simply just you will use pandas library and you are able to read that line, that CSV file in one line of code. That is pandas, pd.read_CSV. So pandas.read_CSV. Just by single line itself, you are able to learn the particular file. The same file, if you want to learn if you want to read in the Java, you will get 100 lines of the code. So one function, if you are using, you will reducing the complexity of writing the 100 lines of the code. Even if you want to go for the matrix multiplication or array multiplication, if you are using, if you want to do such kind of operations in the Java, it will be taking again 100 lines of the code. But then the same thing, if you are using NumPy, it will make you very easier. So if you are taking in the NumPy, so that makes you very easier compared to the Java by writing the complexity of the code. So Python is having the multiple versions, 2.x version and 3.x version. In the 3.x version, it came 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 and 3.9. So whatever the latest version we are there, that we'll be using here. Python here mainly which support the scripting and the OOPS concept. OOPS is nothing but the object-oriented programming. So scripting is meant by without having classes and objects, if you are able to write the program, that kind of the programming you are calling it as a scripting, where you can write the simple line without having classes and objects. You are simply executing and able to run it. That means you are getting some of the result. That kind of things if you are doing, that is called the scripting. Even you will be seeing the practical, how the scripting, how the OOPS, by saying the theory you can't understand clearly, will be executing and will understand where the scripting comes into picture, where the OOPS concept will come into the picture. So in Python, you are able to create the classes and objects. Many of everyone used to comfort, if you ask anyone, they'll tell that by writing in the scripting, it will be, our lives are very comfort. As a Python developer, they used to tell. But if you are going for real-time end application, and if you are going to go build some application in real time, the scripting language, whatever you are doing, that it won't work. Simply there you have to use the classes and objects hooks concept. Without that hooks concept, if you are trying to build some application and develop, and if you are releasing it to the production, so that is not the correct one. So mainly this is kind of the Python introduction. And so in our classes, whatever the Python which I will make you to get installed, hands-on only, and as well as whatever the things I am going to executing in the class, there and then itself, you also people has to execute there only. So whatever the doubts has arised for you at the end of the session, you are supposed to ask me. So the which is totally completely learn. So the content which we covered in this course is the Python core. So whatever the installation, we have seen this Python and comparison with other programming languages. So we'll be installing some kind of IDEs. The Python can be done in various IDEs like the Jupyter Notebook, Anaconda, and PyCharm, Spider. All these things we used to install in the class itself, and we'll be doing some kind of real-time applications in the Python as well as in the data science. So these Python objects, numbers, Boolean strings, all these covered. The structures which used to cover while loop, for loop, and if else conditions, break and continue statements, operators, and the strings which we used to cover the list, the different string operations which will be discussing here, and the kind of the data structures like tuple sets, dictionaries, all these will be covered, and the functions, how to use the user defined functions, how to develop those user defined functions, how already inbuilt functions are there, how we have to use that, all we can see here. And the whoops concepts, the object oriented programming concept, all these we can see here, where you used to cover, and we'll be working with the some files, and where we used to cover also exception handling, multi-threading in the hoops concept. All these will be covered, like like polymorphism. All these will be covered, how to create the classes, how to create an objects. So how, what is parent class, what is child class, how the encapsulation will be working, all this will be seeing here in the hoops concept. And this is a Flask API. This Flask and APIs will be covered here. So for developing some kind of application, you should require the APIs. So between the API is nothing but the application programming interface. Suppose if you are taking the two banks, if you want to transfer the some amount of money to from one bank to the another bank. Suppose in one bank their application is in the Java language, and in other bank their application is in the Python language. In order to communicate with these two applications, you require some kind of the language. So in order to bridge between these two bank applications, you need this some kind of API. So that kind of API is used to learn here by using the Python, that is Flask API, and the visualization libraries where you used to do the some kind of data analysis part. That is this is all used to see by using the Python, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, Cufflinks. So how to do the data analysis, data visualization part, how the one variable is affected with other variable, all this kind of visualization part we'll be seeing here on the Python pandas. So there the pandas where you used to read the different kind of files, where you used to kind of creating some kind of data frames, where you used to indexing and selecting the data. So all these kind of different functions will be using, and how the complexity will be there in other programming languages to do on the some file operations. Whatever the file operations will be there, and you writing in the other programming languages, in some there might be having some kind of library, and there may not be having some kind of libraries. But in Python, if you are seeing this by using the pandas, you can use this library, and wherever it is necessary, you can use that pandas library, and you can able to read those files. So all these file concepts, how to read these things by using pandas, everything will be covered. And the NumPy, if you want to perform some kind of mathematical operations, or if you want to perform some kind of array operations, that all things will be covered by using the NumPy. So some kind of exploratory data analysis, where we used to see the data in the Python. The same thing you will be doing here, some kind of project where you used to do this some kind of data analysis, how you used to done in the real time. These are examples we used to cover here, and our data we used to cover one of the project in the Python. So that is a project explanation also will be given. So here we are only not covering the Django. So that is kind of the web development kind of application, and remaining all the concepts in the Python, which we are covering, including NumPy, pandas, and a visualization part. This NumPy, pandas, and visualization part, especially mainly who are going for the data analyst, who wants to join as a data analyst, data engineering, as well as a data scientist. For all these people, these kind of libraries, how to work and how to use those libraries, they should have able to know. Python developer, if you know, it's good. If you are not know also, it's no problem. If it will be having some kind of advantage by you uh, knowing these kind of libraries. This Python course is not only for the Python developer, as well as for the data scientist, data engineers, and data analyst. For everyone, this Python course, which is more required. So in order to learn from each and everyone, not only restricted to Python developer. So other roles, if you want to choose and if you want to get settled and in the kind of jobs, there for every role, the Python is required. So whatever the role you are going to choose, and if you want to show your career in that designation, so you must and show need required the Python. So who all those kind of roles, this taking this course, which will be having the more advantage, and learning the Python only in the, we are not mainly focusing on to the Python developer only. We are also mainly focusing for the even data analyst, data engineer, and data scientist also who wants to learn this Python, this course is more sufficient. So that not only for the Python developers. So for all the people in other domains also who are set, who wants to get settled in a as a Python developer, or like the data scientist or data analyst. So must and should you should require the Python language. This is some kind of project only, analyzing bike sharing trends, analyzing movie review sentiment. So this is the kind of project you will be using in the in the Python. So the same thing you'll be using, doing this exploratory data analysis by using Power BI also. But in the Power BI, how they are going to do the same thing, we are using here same thing in the uh, by using the Python libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, and Cufflinks. How we will be doing some kind of analysis by using these kind of things, we will be seeing here. So thank you all for giving me this time. So